going on? It's the RapNerd, and I'm here today to talk about a new horror thriller that dropped on Netflix yesterday called Thrash. Now, the story takes place in a fictional coastal town in South Carolina by the name of Annaville. And if you're from South Carolina, from what I can gather, this area is supposed to be close by Myrtle Beach. And that caught my attention while watching the movie. But anyway, this town is about to be hit by a Category 5 hurricane. And the town is told to evacuate, but unfortunately there are some stragglers along that are stuck there once the hurricane does hit, and it floods the entire streets. And with that flooded area come bull sharks who want to use it as their hunting ground, leaving the stragglers not only having to escape the danger from the water, but also the sharks. And if you heard that description or even seen a trailer, you know that it sounds and looks very similar. And I'm gonna say it right now, this is pretty much Crawl but with sharks. Not as good as Crawl, but still a very fun watch at home, and I enjoyed myself because of that. And really the main reason my interest was piqued was because this comes from the director who made Violent Night. And I don't know what his other filmography entails, but I know that movie is one that I enjoy a whole lot, and I've watched since it released in theaters, because I think that he's a pretty good director. I think he knows how to get a nice visual. I think he knows how to shoot action scenes that feel engaging and personal. And you kind of get the same thing here with this movie. Now, the difference it does have from Crawl is the characters in here are widely expanded upon in comparison, because of course Crawl has to do mostly with the daughter and father in the house trying to get their way out, whereas here it's almost an ensemble cast of characters that they set up before the hurricane actually hits, so you kind of get to understand where everybody is in their lives and what their situations are. So by the time the flood happens, you're aware of what kind of characters they are and in their situations, which already add to the fear that's happening. And of course, with more people comes more body count. And as the title says, these sharks are thrashing the hell out of people. But you know, one thing that is surprising to me is the movie is not as campy as I thought it was going to be. Everything is pretty much done in a grounded format. So like when these sharks are attacking people, it doesn't feel silly or over the top as I thought it would be. And not to say that this was gonna be Sharknado or anything like that, but pretty much similar to Crawl, how those alligator attacks felt pretty real and dangerous, these sharks feel the same way. I even respect that there are some practical effects here, like when the sharks attack people close up, they actually have prosthetic sharks that you can see on full display, which I thought was an added touch to make the movie feel more real and physical. And I think the way they paired the characters up and split them amongst their own stories felt interesting. Like you have a young girl who suffers from that condition where you can't leave the house because her mother just passed, so she's just stuck in the house because of that. And she's paired with a pregnant woman who's trying to travel before the hurricanes hit. So you have the grappling fear of both of them combined in one house. And then you're with a foster family who makes it known that things are not the best with their family. It's like 3 siblings who were adopted by a couple who doesn't treat them the best, so you can tell that they have their ulterior motives with this. So that plays a part in their story. And then you have Jamin Hassan, who plays the new guardian of the girl who's scared to leave her home. I believe he's like her uncle. He's a marine biologist in the area who knows about the sharks. And he is with his crew trying to get to his niece to evacuate her. And then of course you have random people who get introduced and quickly taken out once the ball gets rolling. So that dynamic just made for a very fun movie. And it looks really good. I read that it actually was supposed to be a theatrical release, but Sony decided to put it on streaming, which I don't know why, because this would have been really good on the big screen, because I doubled down on the fact that it is a really good looking movie. I actually wonder how certain things were shot, because you can obviously tell that the wide scenes when the rain and storm are hitting are either all CGI or the inclement weather is CGI, but a lot of things are done very practical. Like all of the remaining characters end up being shacked up in a house with the water levels increasingly rising, and you can tell that that's actually done in camera. And to push the limit of that more, they're surrounded by windows, so you can actually see outside of the house and that it's flooded as well. So again, it makes it feel even more real. And to add on to that, there are moments of characters looking out of windows from above and seeing the entire ground flooded. Like I said earlier, the girl who is scared to leave her home, she stumbles across the pregnant girl because she's outside of her house in the car, and in the car the water is pretty much up to her chin. And you see her looking at this from a decline. and you see all of the outdoor elements like trees and the water being that high in the car, that it really upped the stakes a whole lot. So I am curious to see how they shot this, because obviously there are mad things you can do with CGI, and you have the moments when you know stuff is CGI as well. Like some of the shark attacks are definitely CGI. But at this point in cinema, I'm not one of those people who is a stickler for CGI like others. I'm like, certain things have to be done with CGI because you can't do it. And for the most part, the CGI does hold up in the entire movie. And I'll say, if you're a fan of creature features, this is definitely one that you should pop on this weekend because it's well worth the watch. And honestly, I would have liked seeing it in theaters myself because I personally love me a good creature feature. Before I get out of here, let me say it doesn't reinvent the wheel. This isn't the greatest movie ever. It's not terrible either. I just think that it was fun and a good watch. Like, it takes me back to the 2010s when movies like this would release in theaters for a weekend on a micro budget. And it's something that I would see in the showings and be like, you know what? Let's go see that. And it seems like these type of movies have now landed on streaming services rather than being theatrically released. So I'm gonna support them how I can, because that is like a subgenre of films that I think still need to stay alive. Everything doesn't have to be the greatest thing ever, like social media often tries to act like it does. Just because it's not the greatest thing ever doesn't mean it's bad either. So that's all I got for this movie. Let me know in the comments, what did you think about Thrash? What were your favorite sequences? My favorite scene was the initial chaos of the hurricane flooding, because it was shot and edited well to really raise the stakes, and when those sharks start rolling in, it's kind of like a massacre when they first come on the scene. So like I said, mention yours below, and if you like this kind of content, make sure to like and subscribe, and if you already are subscribed, thank you so much, and until next time, peace.
RapNerd Productions, no capping, that's word to mommy. Instead of banking on it, now rapping is just a hobby.